I gave a stranger a ride, then found out it was his last day alive. I still remember that night like it happened yesterday. It was one of those quiet, cold evenings in late October. The streets of my city felt unusually empty, and I was halfway through my shift as a rideshare driver. Honestly, I wasn't even in the mood to work. Bills were piling up, tips had been terrible all week, and I kept asking myself if this job was even worth it anymore. I was just about to log off when one last ride request popped up. Pickup location, a small hospital. I stared at the screen for a few seconds, debating whether I should accept it or not. Something told me to just go home. But another part of me, the one that still believed in, just one more ride, clicked accept. When I arrived, I noticed the entrance was almost empty. A few dim lights flickered above the doors, and the cold wind made everything feel even more lonely. Then I saw him, an elderly man slowly walking toward my car. He was wearing a simple brown coat, holding a small paper bag in one hand. His steps were slow, but steady. I quickly got out and opened the door for him. "Take your time, sir," I said. He smiled. Not a big smile, just a soft, tired one. "Thank you," he replied as he carefully sat down. Once he was inside, I asked, "Where to?" He hesitated for a moment before giving me the address. It wasn't far, about 20 minutes away. I started the ride. A few minutes passed in silence. The only sound was the quiet hum of the engine and the occasional passing car. Then he spoke. "Would you mind taking the longer route?" I glanced at him through the rearview mirror. "The longer route?" I asked. "Yes," he said gently. "I don't mind paying extra." Normally, I would have said no. Time is money in this job. But something about his voice made it hard to refuse. "Of course," I replied. And just like that, the ride changed. Instead of heading straight to the destination, I followed his directions. Left turn here, right turn there, slowing down near certain places. The first stop was an old park. "Could you stop here for a minute?" he asked. I pulled over. He looked out the window, his eyes scanning the empty playground. The swings moved slightly in the wind. "I used to bring my daughter here every Sunday," he said quietly. "She loved the swings." I didn't say anything, I just listened. After a minute, he nodded. "Okay, we can go." We drove again. The next stop was a small diner. It looked almost closed, with only a faint light inside. "My wife and I met here," he said with a small chuckle. I spilled coffee all over her on our first date. For the first time, I saw a bit of life in his expression. "She was so mad," he added, smiling softly. Then his smile faded. But she stayed. There was a pause. She always stayed. I felt something tighten in my chest. We continued driving. He showed me his old school, the street where he bought his first car, the hospital where his daughter was born. Each place had a story. Each story felt heavier than the last. At some point, I couldn't hold it in anymore. "Sir, if you don't mind me asking, why are we visiting all these places?" There was silence. Then he took a deep breath. "I was diagnosed with terminal cancer last month," he said calmly. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. "They told me I don't have much time left," he continued. "Maybe a few weeks, maybe less." I didn't know what to say. "I didn't want to die in a hospital bed," he added. "So I checked myself out today." I glanced at him again. He was looking out the window, but his eyes weren't focused on anything. It was like he was seeing something far away, something only he could see. "These places, they're all I have left," he said. "Memories." The car felt heavier. The air felt different. This wasn't just a ride anymore. It was a farewell. For the next hour, we kept driving. He talked about his life. About his daughter, who now lived in another state. About his wife, who passed away 5 years ago. About the little things, morning coffee, Sunday walks, late night talks. Things we all take for granted. At some point, I forgot about the app, the time, the money. None of it mattered anymore. We were just two people in a car. One with a life ahead. One saying goodbye to his. Finally, he gave me the last direction. "This is it," he said. We pulled up in front of a small, quiet house. The porch light was on. It looked warm, peaceful, home. I parked the car and turned around. "We're here," I said softly. He nodded. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then he slowly reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. "How much do I owe you?" he asked. I shook my head immediately. "Nothing," I said. He looked surprised. "But you drove me for over an hour," he said. "I know," I replied. "But this one's on me." He stared at me for a few seconds. Then his eyes filled with tears. "You have no idea what you just did for me," he said. I felt my own eyes getting heavy. "You gave me something I thought I'd lost," he continued. "Peace." I swallowed hard. He opened the door, but before stepping out, he turned back. "Thank you," he said. And then he was gone. I sat there for a long time after he left. The app was still open. The ride had ended, but something inside me had changed. That night, I didn't feel tired anymore. I didn't feel frustrated. For the first time in a long time, I felt something real. I went home and hugged my family tighter than ever before. Because I realized something that night. We spend so much time chasing money, success, and things that don't last, that we forget the one thing that actually matters. Time, and the people we spend it with. I never saw that man again. But I don't think I'll ever forget him. Because sometimes, the shortest rides in life turn out to be the most meaningful ones.